Hello everyone, welcome back to the RightTurnRandy YouTube channel. Today I'm going to introduce my RX-8. It's a 2004, the manual, so it has a 6-port engine. This car has some problems. It's got some rust down here on the bottom on this side. Came with a free aquarium. And the trunk wasn't closing before, but I took the bracket right here, moved all this plastic and undid the bolts on that bracket, and you just slide the bracket up to adjust it, and then it shuts no problem now. The rocker's basically gone on this side toward the back. The window doesn't roll down, but it sounds like there's a strip gear in there. It does roll down, but you kind of have to help it. Like I said, 6-speed manual. I like that it has the suicide doors in the back there. Like, that is so cool. Like, I really love that. When this car first came out in 2004, I really wanted one. Wing windows in the back that I had no idea about, but that's really cool. Not a whole lot of room in the back seat for anyone to sit. Like, you know, you get some kids back there if you scooch it up. Yeah, kind of like the old RX-7s, where I had an RX-7 before, and it was tough to squeeze people in the back, but it was a lot of fun, like in high school and when you're young, and it's easy to climb in and out of cars. All right, so now the major issue with this car was that it doesn't turn over very easily. You start to crank it and it catches a little bit of, and then it starts. You know what, why am I, I'll just show you. Hopefully it's not too hot, I just moved it. So it has some trouble starting. So, but once it gets there, as long as it's cold, it'll skip a little bit like that. It'll skip, and then it'll catch. But if it's hot, you can't get it to start. It has an idle that searches when you're off the clutch, and when it's warm, you push the clutch in and it dies. Now, the person that I bought this from said to me that they thought that it was low compression, that the engine was low compression. The more he was describing the symptoms to me, the more it sounded to me like it was an ignition problem. Ignition coils a lot of times are suspect in these cars, and when ignition coils get hot, they don't work as well. So the ignition coils in this thing are buried way down here right next to the engine. The whole engine bay is completely sealed off. Like, there's no way for air to really escape. This is a big problem. The coils are weak to start with, and they only last about people say anywhere from 25 to 15,000 miles, 25,000 miles, 30,000 miles. This engine was put in here 60,000 miles ago. So what I did was I went and I ordered an upgrade kit. So with the upgrade kit, I got a harness, and this adapts the new coils to the old wiring in the RX-8. The coils that I'm using are a pretty common replacement for an upgraded coil set, and these are I think D585s is what they call them. They're the same coils that are on my 2008 Hummer, which is not here right now, but I need 4 of those. And then I also got the rotary spark plugs. These are like racing plugs or whatever, but they're one of the best deals that I could find online. It's not easy to find these spark plugs. They're pretty expensive too, so but they're NGK. And then I had some wires custom made in the UK, and these got shipped to me way before I thought they were going to get here, but you can pick out your color and everything like that. It was really good price for them too. So we're going to take all these things, I got everything to change the whole ignition system out except for a bracket to mount the coils at. So I'm going to have to figure out how to take these coils and mount them in some kind of bracket that's going to go and fit down in there. But we of course want to know, like, what's the performance gain going to be compared to how the car sits now. So I have a draggy. So we're going to go out and take this thing for a spin and see what it'll do in a quarter mile. All right, so the best we could do with the car, it looked like to me, would be 17 seconds, which originally these went something like 14 or something like that. I'm not exactly sure, I can't remember off the top of my head, but not 17. 17 seconds is really slow for this car. So now we're gonna change out the ignition, make that bracket, and see if we can improve on that. All right, so I just pulled this part out of here. Had to disconnect a couple vacuum lines. There's 3 of them total, and then pull this thing out, and down in there there's some ooey gooey stuff down in there. I don't know if you can see that, and I don't know what that is, but I think it's oil. but it looks like real thick. Like, looks like bacon grease. Are they running this thing on bacon grease? That's weird. So, this thing's hinged, and I took these 2 bolts out of the front. I didn't even really need to do that. I had 2 bolts here. Didn't need to do it. Once I got the air box out, you can see these coils are nowhere close to new. They got some miles on them for sure. I'm thinking that's why I'm having trouble with starting and poor performance. So I think I have to undo those clips, take those wires off, and you can pull the coils one by one off of that bracket. But I think I'm gonna pull the whole thing apart and take the bracket out of there. And then I just have to mount the new coils kind of where the old bracket is. It looks like there's plenty of room underneath the intake there. So I should be able to just mount them essentially kind of in the same spot, but in a different configuration. And I think I'll be able to do it pretty easily. Some spiders found home in there. Gross. All right, here's the bracket. I don't think this will be too tough to modify because the coils had a good amount of room on the top here. We'll go see if we can put something together. So we got the bracket out here. These are the original coils. That's how they go on there. I'm thinking these are probably gonna go about like that. Sit them down as close to that as I can possibly go. And then there's a wiring loom that goes there. So I'm pretty sure that that'll go up above the wiring loom enough. Now, I'll line up all 4 of them, 1, 2, 3, 4, and they should take up just a little bit more space than the old coils. Now, I was out looking around on, looking for some scrap brackets or something, and I ended up finding these. These were from the lights that I put on the Tide car here. So, that was an episode I did a long time ago, and these brackets were left over from the kit that it came with, and they look like they're gonna absolutely be perfect for this. So I'm gonna try and go to the hardware store and use these brackets to get everything set up. I have a spare. 1 on each side, and then line up all of the coils like that, and then just use some all thread, put it through all 4 coils and bolt them all together. And then I should be able to fit everything in there. Probably finish building that today. So it's finished. Got the bracket built. This is some all thread that I got from the hardware store, plus the nuts there. Put a little, just a dab of Loctite blue on all that stuff, because just even moving it around and manipulating it, all these bolts are starting to come loose, and I didn't want to have the whole thing coming loose on me. So, you know, because when it drives all that vibration being mounted to the engine, it's gonna fall apart really quick. Couple self tappers in the bottom to hold this drawer slide bracket into place. That's a drawer slide there, and then I've got that bolted to these angle brackets, and that's all mounted to the original Mazda bracket. Now, the way this sits, there is an electrical loom that goes through here. All of the spark plug wires should clear it, and over here for these connectors, I think all of the connectors are going to clear when I click them in. So I'm going to try and fit this thing right now. Hopefully it's within the range of the original. Otherwise, I'm going to be really mad trying to pull this thing apart and retool it. All right, I've already got the adapter loom in there and connected. So I'm going to try and put this thing in. Oh my gosh, it's huge. Come on, buddy. That's totally hitting the intake in the back. It's hitting it pretty bad. I don't think there's any way that's gonna fit. Unless it's cockeyed like that. Well. Oh no. Oh, there it is. No, it does fit. Oh, I was about to have a freaking heart attack. Because that thing didn't fit in there. I was gonna be so sad. So now I have to connect all the connectors. Hopefully get them in the right order. And then put this thing all together and see if it runs. All right, so it's like 9:30. I'm about to start this thing up. I got it all back together. Hopefully I got it all wired right and everything, and it doesn't catch fire. All right, so here we go. We'll see if this thing starts up. Oh my gosh, I hope it starts up. I'm dying over here. All right. Here we go. Oh, it started up pretty much exactly the same. Oh man. Well, that's not good. But it will probably run a little bit better once I get it out on the road. Hopefully it'll hot start now too, but we'll see. I hope I didn't do all that work for nothing. Dang. So I'm gonna take this thing for a little test drive and see if it feels any better, and then we'll do a quarter mile and see if it does better on that. But we're gonna go and just take it for a test drive right now. We'll do the quarter mile tomorrow when it's light outside. Let's go. Oh man, it just died. Yeah, it just died. No way. It's doing the same exact thing. Oh my gosh, I just did all that work for nothing. Huh. I just spent all that money and did all that work for nothing. Well, that's how it goes sometimes, I guess. Dang. Still having the same issue that I was having. So I was looking online, reading through some forums, and this guy says, you know, about an issue completely unrelated to mine. This guy says, you know, I see people all the time grounding their aftermarket coil setups to the battery, which is wrong. It must be grounded to the engine block. They ground to the battery, which is wrong. So, and I'll ground that to the engine block and see if there's any kind of difference. So I've got the RX-8 warming up now, and I'm gonna try and see if the draggy will work and see what it'll do for a quarter mile now. Last time we did it was 17 seconds. I think was gonna be the best we were gonna get. See if it does any better than that now. So after much driving the car around, taking it for another pass, it is not breaking 17 seconds in the quarter mile. Nothing I can do to make it go faster than that. It feels really sluggish, and when it gets up at the top end, it starts breaking up. So I took it for a really good romp, was hard on it, taking it to redline over and over for like good 10-15 minutes, and I brought it back home, looked underneath the car, and the cat was glowing. The cat was glowing right around the inside of the oxygen sensor right here, and it was glowing back where it connects to this pipe right here and up to the front. So I just pulled this thing out. This is the resonator and the cat, and we're gonna take a look down at it right now and see if that puppy is plugged or not. Okay, so that looks like what we're working with. Doesn't look too bad. All right, so we just took the catalytic converter off this thing because I suspect it might be clogged. So I'm gonna go start this thing up and see how it runs without it. Oh, that's loud. Oh, that is loud. Woo. The drone is real. It's loud. So far, can't really tell the difference in the way it's running, but I'll let it warm up a bit, and then I'll get on it and see if it's breaking up like it was before. All right, so it's about up to operating temperature now. So we're gonna drop it down a few gears and see what it does. I'll slow down a little bit. We go to second. There we go. All right, here we go. Definitely still missing, breaking up at high RPM, so, but not as bad as it was. So, actually doesn't sound too bad. There used to be a really, really good spot between 7,000 and 7,500, and right in between there was where it actually ran really, really good, but it was bad on both sides of the 7,000 and 7,500. I think that's gone away now. I think it's completely uniform. through that entire range. It's just breaking up a little bit. You can hear it dropping a couple pulses here and there. All right, this is from 5,500 to 9 grand. It pulls like really hard. Well, really hard for a stock RX-8. Yeah, 6,000. It comes in. Like it all comes in at 6 grand, but then it starts breaking up. So I wonder what that's about. Alright, so here's a moment of truth now. This car, if you don't let it sit for 20 minutes to half hour without trying to start it, it would not start. So with the catalytic converter off it, let's see if it'll start. Yeah, nothing. So it has nothing to do with the cat. So we're gonna have to put the cat back on and keep troubleshooting. I really should do a compression test at this point. I'm afraid to though. Changing the ignition made absolutely no difference at all. And I learned myself a valuable lesson throughout that whole debacle. Don't take a guess at what you think the issue is and start throwing parts at it in excitement, thinking that you might have fixed the problem a lot easier. What I should have done was pulled the spark plugs out and done a compression test. My friend told me to do that. I didn't listen to him. I thought, I was convinced that this is a problem, an ignition problem, and I went through all of this. I should have just pulled the spark plugs out and done a compression test. But sometimes we get overexcited. Everybody makes mistakes. There's certainly no exception to that for me. I make mistakes all the time. And this was a pretty big one, and it was kind of annoying. But now I have this awesome ignition system that I can go and sell to somebody else, already pre-made, built, and everything. Or maybe just buy another RX-8 and do it all over again, I don't know. And that's how the story went. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you next time.